Today I'm going to show you how to make the Winnie the Pooh honey pot that I created. In order to make this, you'll need about 20 yellow bands, 85 blue bands. I used the ocean blue from Rainbow Loom. You'll need about 12 orange, and these are the neon orange to give it more of a honey look. So you can also use regular orange if you'd like. And then you need 10 black. And I used 12 clear bands to create the bee's wings. If you don't have clear, you could always use white or any other color that you want to use for the bee. So if you want to go ahead and grab your supplies, and we will get started. Okay, the first thing that we are going to create today is the bee for the top. So you're going to start on the top of the loom in the center with a single yellow band, and we are going to double it. Coming down once. We're going to do that again, single double, and then one more time with a single double. Then you want to take 2 yellow bands coming from the center 4th peg out to the left 4th peg, taking 2 yellow bands coming down the center, and 2 more yellow bands coming down from the left 4th to the left 5th peg. We're then switching to black, so take 2 black bands coming down from the center and 2 blacks from the left 5th peg to the back to the center peg. And then switching back to the yellow, coming down once from the center with 2 bands. 2 more bands coming back out from the center peg, the same center peg, so the 6th center peg and diagonally out to the 6th left peg. And then 2 yellow bands from the 6th to the 7th on the left. Switching back to the black from the 7th center to the 8th center. And then 2 more black from the 8th center to the 7th left peg. And this is what you should have. We are then going to cap off this last peg here with a single yellow band, creating 4 loops. And then we want to take a single yellow, and we are going to create a crossover band from the 4th left peg to the center 5th peg. We're doing a single double, just like this. And we want to take a single black, creating a crossover, single double from the center 5th to the left 5th with a single double. We then want to place one on the left 6th peg to the center 7th with a single double yellow, and then from the center 7th to the left 7th with a black single double, just like that. Now on the bottom of the loom, we need to go ahead and just create the 2 wings so that we can attach them. So you're going to start here on the center peg with a single yellow. We're going to double that. And taking a single clear band and double it. Coming down one more. Another clear, single double, going from the center diagonally out to the right. Single double coming down the center. Another single double, clear, forming a triangle. Another single double coming down to the end. And then we are going to cap this to create 4 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can then go ahead and loop this one up. When you come in, grabbing these first single double band, this one will go out to the right, and then bring this one back over to the center, and then bringing this one up. Grabbing the bottom 2 clear, and then that yellow. We can go ahead and remove this one. And that's what one of the wings looks like. So we're going to go ahead and create another one. On this second one, we are not going to be using the yellow band though. So you just want to start on the center peg with a single and double it. Single double, coming out to the right. Single double down the center. And a single double to form the triangle. And another single double coming down to the center. And then we'll cap that off with 4 loops. Then go in and loop this up. And then we need to attach this wing to this band. The best way to do that, so let's go ahead and pull this wing off. And I'm going to reattach this to 2 pegs. And I then am going to hook this wing to this bottom band. And then go in, pull the yellow band through and up. And we can then pull that off the loom. And that's how you create the 2 little wings. We are then going to attach this to this peg here. The 6th peg from the top, we're just going to attach these on. Just like that. Now that everything's in place, we can go ahead and loop up our bee. So we're going to go in under the capping band, grabbing the first 2 black bands coming off to the left, grabbing the bottom 2, so these are crossover bands, you don't want to pull those bands. You're going to go in, grabbing the bottom yellow and bringing it onto itself, go in through all of those bands and pull this back onto itself. Then go back in the capping band and go ahead and loop up to that peg. Going in here, grabbing the first 2 black, and looping them to the left, going through the crossover band, grabbing the bottom yellows, bringing them onto themselves, and then bringing these back over to the center, then going back in, and we can go ahead and loop straight up to the top. Once you're at the top, we do not need to place a holding band. You can actually just grab the bottom part of this band and that will create your slip knot. We'll go ahead and remove our bee from the loom. Just like that. And this is our little bee. If you want, you can go ahead and take those bands, go through these tight bands down here, and pull it in order to hide it. And there's our bee. So we're going to set him aside so we can move on to making the honey pot. So now we're going to start at the top of the loom. I'll be using 2 bands unless I specify otherwise. So we're coming down off the top of the loom with 2 of our blue bands out to the left. 2 more to the right. Coming down once on the left. 2 bands down the center. And 2 on the right. And we're then going to come in to the center peg with 2 bands. Same thing on the left side. And then coming down the center with 2 bands to fill that in. We then want to switch over to our neon orange. I'm coming down twice with 2 bands on the left. Coming down once in the center. And then twice on the right. And then we'll switch back to the blue. And we're going to come down 4 times on the left with 2 of your blue bands. And you're going to repeat that on the right side as well. And then we're going to bring that into the center peg with 2 bands. And then we're going to go ahead and fill in the center. And I did those with just 2 bands as well. We're going to cap off this last one, creating 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. And we also need to create extensions to make the pot a little bit larger. So you can always do this on the bottom of the loom. I do have 2 looms, so I'm going to create mine on the second loom. But you could always actually, I can show you on here, that way it's easier for you to understand what I'm doing. So we're going to create this because we're going to remove it anyways. So starting on this peg here, where this diagonal is, you're going to take 2 blue bands and come down 5 times. And repeat that on the other side as well. And we're going to cap off the bottom, creating 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're then going in under these capping bands and we're going to loop up those 5 bands. And then the easiest way to do this, since this is one of the pegs we're attaching to, we're not going to remove the top. We'll go ahead and just remove from the capping band, stopping there, so if you hold your finger over, it'll release it right on the peg you need it, without pulling it completely off. And then leaving your hook in this capping band, I'm just going to turn and pull my bands around, and I want to attach this to the 4th peg down from the top. So I'm just going to pull it up and over. And the same thing with the other side, just like that. We also need to create our lid attachment, so we're going to take 2 of the blue bands, and I'm just going to use the bottom of my loom, starting down here with the 2nd peg from the bottom on the left, coming in at an angle to the center. Do that again. And we're going to cap this off 4 times. And ignore that, that's my phone. Go in under the capping band and just loop them onto themselves. And then I'm going to remove this. And this will be placed up here on these top pegs. So I'm going from the top right peg, the first one, to the second one. Remember, you had 2 sets, so 4 of your bands will go on this top peg. And 4 of them on the second peg, just like that. We're going to do that again for the other side, so 2 bands coming in at an angle. 2 more, creating 4 loops. And then I'm going to attach this one on this side. We then need to create some of our crossover bands, so let's just start down here at the bottom of the jar, starting on these 2 pegs here where our attachments ended, just bringing across as a single triangle. On the next one up, also a single triangle, and again, and another single triangle. And at this part here, a single triangle. On this one, we're going to create the single triangle with our neon orange. And then switching back to the blue, we're going to do one for the lid as well. And this is what you should have. Now in order to attach the bee, all you have to do is flip them upside down, pick a band. I just went through these yellow bands. You can just grab a couple of them and place him on the very top peg, just like that. And now that all of our bands are in place, we can go ahead and loop this up. So we're going to go in under the capping band, grabbing the first two bands and bringing those forward. And we can go ahead and loop this all the way up to this top yellow. And then going back in under the capping band, my next two bands go to the left. And I'm going to loop this up through my orange. And going back in the capping band and doing the right side as well. You know, a lot of times I get stuck doing my tutorials pretty late at night by the time all my kids go to bed and my husband goes to bed, because I think he's a little bit louder than my kids sometimes. But I find that things run a little more smoothly when I have time to do this during the day, when the kids are in school and I have a day off work. I don't have bands flying everywhere. So you guys will always know when I shoot my tutorials late at night if I have a lot of bands that fly out of my hands and things. Okay, once we've looped up to here, we do want to go into this band, grabbing the first two blue, bringing those up. We can go all the way up to our bee, going back in, grabbing these two blue, bringing them to the left. We can then go in through all of these bands, grabbing the bottom two blue, and bringing this up all the way to the top. And then we can repeat that again, going to the right. And once we get up here, we want to take a single blue band. I'm going to go in through all of these. We can then pull up our bee, go through those bands to pull through our slip knot. We then go ahead and remove this from the loom. And once it's off the loom, you can go through the back, grabbing our slip knotted band, pull that through, and hide that in the back. You want to grab the little corners here to pull out the edges of the pot top. And there is our honey pot from Winnie the Pooh. If you wanted to, you could also take some black bands. This is totally up to you if you want to do it. I'm not a big fan of adding things once it's off the loom. I'm sure you guys have noticed I don't do it very often. But if you take the black bands, you could go through the back here. This would probably take some clips, involve some clips probably, or we could maybe just tie it off. I haven't really tried this yet. Just an idea that came to me. But we could create the H. You probably can't write out the whole word, but we could create the H on the honey pot. For those of you that might want to, it would have to probably be a little bit bigger. Let's go in on this side. Or I could pull the whole band through. And then just go back in from one side to the other. Well, you get the point, because I don't want to pull out the clips. But you could always weave in H onto the front of the honey pot as well, if you would like. So that's the honey pot to add to the Winnie Pooh collection. I do hope that you like it.